3 radio stations owned by the MPP's Ashanti Regional Chairman, Bernard Nchibu, also known as Chairman Wontumi, they've been shut down, with 6 others. The closure followed a June 2025 directive from the National Communication Authority ordering 62 radio stations off air for regulatory breaches, including operating without valid authorization, exceeding permitted transmission limits, and failing to renew licenses and non-payment of licensing fees. Among the affected stations were Happy FM, Asase Radio, Wontumi, and 59 others. And President Mahama stepped in and directed the immediate restoration of services and granting the stations a grace period to correct the violations. However, weeks later, the NCA reported that 9 stations, including the 3 belonging to Chairman Wontumi, they did not meet, what was expected of them and have been shut down indefinitely for failing to comply with the regulations. Let me bring you details of that statement. All right, so there you have it. So suspension announced today, August 12th, and it followed 30 days grace period that expired also. And then the reason is that they failed to comply with the FM broadcasting regulation. Some stations ignored the regulatory amnesty entirely. That was granted by the president. Others continue to operate with violation, including use of unauthorized studio to transmitter link STL frequencies. That is doing live broadcast from out of the studio and operating from unapproved transmitter locations. So 6 radio stations, they have had their licenses totally, cancelled. And these are the radio stations. So 3 radio stations operated by the Ashanti Regional Chairman of the MPP, Bernard Nchibu, also known as Wontumi. These radio stations have been caught up in the crossfire. One in Kumasi, one in Accra, and the other one in Takra. Let me cross over to the site for the radio and TV station for Wontumi here in Accra, just some few meters away from Joy FM. And my colleague, Michael Ashale, is standing by. Michael, so, what is the move there? Knowing very well that their livelihood is almost being taken away from them.
It's a relatively very quiet and uneventful office this morning, except for some people going in and coming out. Wontumi station right here in Accra. It's a relatively quiet place. I won't say it's a ghost town because we have seen a couple of people going and coming. But out in a bit of background is that before the 12th of May, we knew that the NCA was targeting around 64 media houses whose licenses were going to be redrawn. But the president intervened, and we know that almost 2 months on, just 9 radio stations. And we know that the 9 radio stations, 6 of them, we are told, failed and refused and neglected to comply with the regulatory amnesty by taking no action. But for Wontumi station, which is right behind me, the one in Accra, together with 2 others across the country, the NCA says that whereas many of the violating stations took steps to remedy breaches during the amnesty period, 3 stations, including the one in Accra, failed. And the one in Accra, the radio station we know is at 95.9 FM. And Elton, if you have a bit of time, we could just tune into the radio station exactly what is happening there at the moment here. I have a radio on me that I could take you through so that you know what exactly is happening. This is what exactly you can hear at the moment. So Elton, that is Wontumi 95.9 right here in Accra, broadcasting from Accra. That is currently giving us just static, what you ordinarily describe as just. But to give you a bit of insight of what exactly is happening there, so the radio station is off at the moment, but not the TV station. So some of the people that work in there do a bit of crossover from radio and TV. And definitely you see some small activities happening. The majority of it is what is going online and also that is going on TV. But for radio, we can confirm that Wontumi Radio right here in Accra, 95.9 FM is currently off at the moment. But what again also is happening is that we cannot tell for a fact what is happening, but we know that Wontumi as a mother body of the stations, these 3 radio stations have sent a letter to the National Communications Authority, effectively not challenging what they have said, but telling them that what they have decided, they have fulfilled all the requirements that have been asked of them, including paying off the fees and charges that they had to pay, and also gotten permits from the Ghana Fire Service and also from the Environmental Protection Agency for the siting of their mast, the mast that sits up there. So we are told from that statement from Wontumi that they at least have written back to the NCA challenging the conditions under which their licenses have been redrawn. Elton.
Also curious to know, I mean, the workers, how are they taking this?
Well, I'm not sure I'm able to hear you because at the moment I am off the phone connection here. But Elton, again, we can confirm that as it stands now, Wontumi FM, it's not on air, but Wontumi TV, broadcasting from Accra here, is still live on air.
All right. Papani, we'll leave it here for now. Thank you so much. Papani, we're reporting from the premises of Wontumi Radio and TV, the one here in Accra, not far from Joy FM. Now, the station has also put out this statement, sort of reacting to the NCA communication that resulted in the suspension of the radio license for the Ashanti Regional Chair of the MPP, Bernard Nchubuasiako. The radio stations in question are 95.9 FM in Accra, 101.3 in Kumasi, 101.3 in Accra, and the charges are quite clear in the NCA communication. That on your screen is a reaction coming from Wontumi, and the long title is Apology to President John Mahama, the NDC, and the general public. Let me bring in the lawyer, Andy Apiakubi, who is counsel for Bernard Nchubuasiako. Counsel, good afternoon. Welcome to the program. Yes, Mr. Andy Apiakubi, if you can hear me, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Can you hear me also?
I can hear you loud and clear, and it's good to
Very well,
have you on the show. So, according to the NCA, they make the point that Wontumi failed to remedy some of the breaches, including unauthorized use of studio to transmitter link frequencies and unapproved transmitter location. And this basically talk about live transmission. I mean, what is your reaction to this hard line taken by the NCA?
Thank you very much, my brother, for giving me the opportunity to explain the situation to you and to your cherished listeners. First and foremost, let me also congratulate NCA for giving us this notice of their intent. Indeed, I must also go back and talk about the amnesty granted by the President of the Republic pursuant to their failure to meet the expectations of the LI some months back. Upon the grant of this amnesty, my information and instruction is that my clients have been able to meet all those expectations. We suspect that there will be some communication challenges that have resulted in this suspicion that we have not met the requirement. So far, we have. In fact, currently, I've been served with all the communication between
the NCA and the company?
The copy of this communication. I have been served with all those communication and the responses from my client to NCA also. And the evidence of the prescriptions having been met by my clients. So I'm drafting a letter to NCA to explain the situation to them and to also showcase the documents that support what we have done, and also seeking a meeting with the leadership of the NCA so that all of us will be on the same page and will be in a position to explain ourselves and do the reconciliation and then seek a restoration of our status as operating media company. So, yes, we have received these letters seeking to suspend our operations. But we can also say that we have complied with all such requirements as NCA is seeking, and that we will show evidence of what we have done. What we cannot do is give a report of the inspection. We have invited NCA to come and conduct the inspection after we had finished with the sighting of the mast. And to be honest with you, the sighting coincides with the sighting of most of the media houses on the Abri Mountains. So we are there close to your own mast and the other masts of the other but media companies. Okay. So we have finished with that. We have invited NCA to come and conduct the inspection. And we have even paid the statutory fee to facilitate the inspection. But the time and day to come for the inspection is the reserve of the NCA. So we have done all that we have to do as a condition precedent for the inspection. In respect of the other condition of the STL, we have also complied with the expectations of NCA. Save again that NCA will have to come and see what we have done.
So if you have done all that was required of you, and the only, possible explanation is that the NCA could not make time to come and inspect, then therefore you must be shocked at the decision taken by the NCA.
Yes, we are, but we are sure that when we meet and explain our situation to them, we'll be able to resolve the impasse. But we are shocked that we received this notification today that they have suspended our operations. But notwithstanding, I'm sure that when we convene and we discuss and we submit evidence of our compliance, the situation will change.
Because all radio stations, about 59, were on the same wavelength with you. Some of them met the conditions of the NCA. So therefore, it is surprising that you couldn't get them to iron out the differences.
What I'm informing you is the fact we have complied with all such conditions, and we have also expressed gratitude to the President for the intervention and the extension of time for us to meet the expectations of NCA. And we suspect that there will be some communication challenges that has brought us this shock of the announcement of the closure. But that notwithstanding, we are prepared to meet with NCA, and indeed we are preparing our communication with MCA so that either tomorrow or late today or tomorrow, we'll be able to have a meeting to explain ourselves to them and to show them also evidence of our compliance and seek their restoration of our operating license.
All right. Council, thank you so much for your contribution to this discussion. Let me bring in Cecil Sinkwa Mills of the Ghana Independent Broadcasters Association. Mr. Mills, what is your reaction to this position taken by the NCA? The minister on the Super Morning Show this morning said that before coming to this conclusion, he had met with almost all relevant bodies connected to this. The reason why there isn't so much uproar regarding this statement.
Yeah, good afternoon to your listeners. I think this might be the third round of closures. And at each time this occurred, if we remember, we actually also came out, we spoke, we sent circulars out, we actually assisted stations. Most of them are members. There were a few others who consulted for advice, and we kept in contact to make sure that they had actually met all the requirements to ensure the broadcasting continued. We had heard there were 200 or so upon the first list of stations. So it's actually not news because it was an ongoing process. I'm happy to hear 58 stations, and of course, I think the second time was when we actually commended that the president for his intervention. We gave a 30-day window period for stations to use that period. And within that period, some work was done. Now that another set of closures have come through, we're looking through the list. Our doors are open. If there are some engagements or misunderstandings that they need support and advice, GIBA will definitely do that. That is what we are for.
Mm. Yes. You also heard the lawyer for the Wontumi Communications, yes. And he says that whatever was asked of them, they did it. The reason why perhaps they are in this soup is because NCA could simply not find time to inspect what they've been asked to put in place.
Yeah, but what we do is we actually would look at exactly what the facts are. We will speak to people, we'll speak to the NCA before we actually will know what middle ground we should take. That's his lawyer. We haven't heard from the NCA, so it's difficult for me to make an additional comment about their situation. You know, there were stations that had communication problems, etc., but there was a way they solved it. So I believe the engagement should be the way to go. And if there was a lapse, I'm sure the NCA will be able to pick it up. There's one thing I'll say that with the references we make to the NCA during the period, I would like to say the NCA was very supportive of the stations that actually needed to correct any anomaly.
All right. We'll leave it there for now and then look forward to that meeting. Mr. Sunkwa Cesar Mills is with GIBA. Now, let's stay a little longer with the Minister for Communications, Digital Technology and Innovation, Samuel George, because it says he contemplated shutting down internet access following last Wednesday's helicopter crash that claimed 8 lives somewhere in the close to the Obuasi enclave. Listen.
Generally, I would say that it's been a mixed bag for me. And let me say a very big thank you to the telecom companies, MTN, Telecel, and Airtel Tigo, or AT Ghana. When the incident happened, I mean, I was distraught, but we still had a responsibility to the state. I got a call with the videos that started circulating. The unfortunate situation is most of them were circulating on WhatsApp. Yeah. And WhatsApp is a platform that is not controlled by any country. It's a private business. I was faced as Minister for Communications with 2 options. One was to shut down the internet in the country to prevent further spread of the videos. Because don't forget that at that time, you had not had government officially complete communications with the families. Government had not made a formal communication. You had some of the kids who are old enough being online. I was worried about the mental health of those kids and the spouses, and such tragedy needs to be broken in a certain way. And I thought that the insensitivity, and so that was one option, to shut down, make the public announcement and say we're turning off the internet for a period.